TALRadio is a key part of the Touch of Life Foundation, where we like to share stories of kindness and information on how we can connect those in need of assistance with those who are generous enough to offer it. This is Robert Hicks, and I want to welcome you to my show today. Today on the show, we have an executive from Northwest Assistance Ministries in Houston, Texas, Mr. Brian Carr, who's the Chief Advancement Officer. Thanks for coming in on TALRadio today, Brian.
Well, thanks for having me.
So, Brian, I have to ask you, I'm always wondering sometimes about the details. What does a Chief Advancement Officer do at Northwest Assistance Ministries? I heard that title before.
Well, the first job description is we get to be on podcasts and do radio interviews. So I'm your guy. Really, It's about promoting the organization, whether it's doing fundraising or communication or marketing. It all kind of ties together, so we create the message and the brand that is Northwest Assistance Ministries.
Yeah, and I kind of guessed that was probably what it was, a promotional role. And thanks for clearing that up for me. And I had to ask. I always ask when it's a new title. But what's your background? How long have you been with Northwest Assistance Ministries?
I am celebrating 5 years here at Northwest Assistance Ministries. I've been doing nonprofit work for close to 20 years total.
Wow.
And once you kind of get in and you find that your calling, there's a lot of rewarding experiences working in nonprofit. And so I have made moves. I work for some great organizations like the YMCA and American Cancer Society. And now here I am with Northwest Assistance Ministries. And each stop has been rewarding. And it's a great field to get into, particularly if you have a heart and a passion to serve others.
Very good. And so tell us, if you would, now I know Northwest Assistance Ministries is in Houston, Texas, and specifically Northwest Houston, right?
Correct.
What's your overall mission?
Our mission statement is really very simple, and it's to provide basic human needs through neighbors helping neighbors. And both parts of that statement carry some equal weight. We're not necessarily, we don't do scholarships, we don't do medical research, but if your family is hungry, if you need a place to stay, if you are trying to escape a domestic violence issue, we're an organization here to serve you. We do Meals on Wheels for seniors. We have a senior program in-house. We do vocational training for adults, English as a second language, GED classes. We have behavioral health services. We have veteran services. We have a full service pediatric center on site to help for children's medical issues. We have an assistance department that will help with rent and utilities and other financial hardships that families find them in. And then we have a food pantry to feed those that come that are hungry. And last year alone, we served over 136,000 clients in 1 year.
Wow. That's doing a lot for a lot of people.
It is. And that's where that Neighbors Helping Neighbors comes in. We are a local organization. We're not part of a national organization. All the money that is raised is used here, right in our backyard. We serve an area of about 1.1 million in population. Between 85 and 90 cents of every dollar that is donated to Northwest Assistance Ministries goes into programming. And we're very, very proud of that statistic. And the reason we're able to do that is volunteers. We had over 2,400 volunteers work at NAM last year, even through the pandemic. And so
wow.
That's what we mean by Neighbors Helping Neighbors. The community donates, whether it's time or treasure or talent, and they come in and we just organize the community's resources and push them right back out the door to clients.
Yeah, now you and I were talking off the air earlier, and you were kind of telling me Northwest is kind of the, like I say, Northwest Houston area. Did I see limited? Is it Harris County? Is that right?
Correct. Houston is in Harris County, and we serve that northwest area of Houston and Harris County, and a little bit of our neighboring county, Montgomery County as well.
other assistance ministries that have similar missions in other parts of the area near you, or even across the country or globally?
Assistance Ministries really is kind of a business model. And so in the Houston area, we have several that use the name Assistance Ministries. The business model is used around the country. You may hear Interfaith Ministries, you may hear Assistance Ministries, or someone just may say Community Ministries, but it's pretty much the same model where you tie yourself in with a large number of congregations, different faiths, different denominations, and they come together to organize an assistance ministry like NAM in order to provide services to the whole community better than any one church can serve their small percentage of it.
Where would our listeners best find NAM, Northwest Assistance Ministries? Where should they go? I mean, you guys have a website, right?
We do have a website. It's namonline.org. And we are also available on all the social media platforms. But our website is the most comprehensive resource for finding services if you're a client, finding opportunities to volunteer. If someone wants to donate and support the programs that we have here, you can obviously do that online. And it's just a great way to learn about what NAM is doing and how they may get involved. And if there's someone in the outside of our area, they may want to go to our website and kind of learn what we're doing, to learn what they want to look for in their community. And that makes it an easy resource for everyone.
So you mentioned, you said 136,000 clients that you've helped, right?
Yes, sir.
How many members are there in your organization?
We have a staff of about 70. And of course, we have a board of directors. We have, like I say, 2,400 volunteers that come in at different areas of our ministry. And we are associated and work with over 100 of the congregations in our area. And those congregations are our greatest resource for volunteers, for donations, for a lot of food drives, toiletry drives, and also a great resource for community needs. They communicate to us what they're starting to see in their front door, people coming in needing different services and different assistance, and they communicate that back to us, and we're able to adjust or, if need be, even begin a new program. And most recently, that became evidence with a survey we did of our congregations about 2-3 years ago. Overwhelming, they came back and said, we are getting flooded with requests for behavioral health services. And this was even before the pandemic. So we knew that increased during that period of time. And so earlier this year, we opened up a full-time program for behavioral health services. And it's available to anyone, and it's completely free.
How long has NAM been around?
Next year, we will celebrate our 40th anniversary. We started business in 1983. 40 years.
Okay, wow, okay. Very interesting. Was there any kind of an interesting story how that started up? Anything that you have that you can share? Or?
The story, a young lady in the community asked her pastor to go to lunch. And they went to lunch, and she, on a napkin, drew up really what became a business plan and said, our congregation helps so many people. This other congregation over here helps X amount of people. What if we pooled our resources and started an organization, something Assistance Ministries, and the name hadn't been come up with. And the pastor said, that might work. During 1983, 10 different congregations pulled some resources together and started Northwest Assistance Ministries. We started as basically a food pantry out of a closet. We had 4 desks crammed together that they did some rent assistance. And we opened up a small resale shop in the corner of the office and had about a $10,000 budget that year. And over the 40 years, we estimate we have served more than 2 million people and worked with more than about $290 million of contributions that have come through NAM to support the community.
Wow, that's really exciting. It's always, I'm sorry to put you on the spot about how things started, because, sometimes it may not be an interesting story, but it really is so very interesting to see not only how small it can start, how local it can start, and how big it can get. I mean, it's just really a real lesson that you can make a difference locally, start there, and a lot of people can do that elsewhere in the same model.
Absolutely. And I think that is the draw to an organization. Like, we tell the story that when crisis hits, a few years ago it was Hurricane Harvey, the past 2 years it was the pandemic, the community has an expectation that Northwest Assistance Ministries will in fact step up and take the lead and serve the community. But then there's that understanding that they are a part of that process. They step up with us, whether it's financial donations or volunteer time or donations to in kind with food or clothing that we can pass along to our clients. So there is a real partnership that comes together during times of need. And that's what makes this kind of organization, I think, very special, because it does reflect the personality. It does reflect the caring heart of our community.
Also sounds like it reflects the reputation you've built up over time. When you say that the community expects this from you, you've obviously created a model and the community has shown appreciation for it.
I believe so. It's, and we take that obviously very precious to us. We work to make sure that good communication to the community back and forth, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what we need help with. And of course, making wise decisions with the resources that the community trusts us with. So we wake up every morning, we don't have to-do lists, because with 136,000 clients, there's always something to do here, and the needs will dictate where we go.
Kind of looking at the people that you provide assistance to, who are they? How do you identify the people that need your help? Just kind of curious how that's done.
We operate in a neighborhood and a community that is in need in general. The majority of those that live in this community live at or below the poverty line. There is a very high rate of unemployment or underemployment. The dropout rates in the school districts in the area are high. And sadly, this is one of the highest areas in the state of Texas for teen pregnancy. And for most of the pandemic, our zip code that our building sits in was the hotspot for the coronavirus. It was the highest infected rate in the state of Texas, mostly during the pandemic. And so the needs just exist. And when Harvey hit, this was one of the hardest flooded areas in the Houston Gulf Coast area. The need is just existing in this community, and it's a very diverse.
Doesn't sound like it's hard to find.
Right.
Doesn't sound like it's hard to find, right?
Exactly. We tell the story that when the rain finally stopped after Hurricane Harvey, this was on the Wednesday after 4 or 5 days of just straight rain. A few of us came up here to check the building and to quote unquote get things ready to start serving clients the next day. And we came in, and 30 minutes after us just parking our cars in the parking lot and coming into the building, we had a line of 60 people outside our door needing help. So we said, well, so much for tomorrow. And we started opening up the food pantry and handing out food and water. And that's how it is. The community knows we're here, and that's a good thing. They trust us. We deal with a lot different demographics, but mostly it's a Spanish-speaking community. We do have a high percentage of an Asian community that's involved with this. It's very diverse.
Interesting.
And within all of that, we have this pocket of wealth that most of our donors come from that really keeps our organization going. And they always say the reason that they give to NAM or they volunteer for NAM is because it is helping right in their backyard and it's helping the community. And even though they're an oil executive or retired oil executive and they have a great retirement plan and they're set for life, their kids are set for life, they know that just 3 blocks over, there are families that don't know when their next meal is going to come from, or
Wow.
A young mother that is struggling to get out of an abusive relationship. And so they know the problems exist. And so there's no shortage of need. And the only thing that keeps us from serving more people are more resources, because even this week, we're having more than 100 clients apply for rental assistance, even though the pandemic is quote unquote behind us. There's the effects of the pandemic are still alive and well in a lot of families.
So on the side of getting people involved, I mean, that's part of what you and I are here to talk for today, at least, is to create awareness of your organization, tell your story, but also hopefully entice some additional folks to get involved. Who do you target for participation? Is there any kind of group of people or something like a demographic that you might say, these are the people that we look for the most to participate in our organization?
A lot of people enjoy and get involved in volunteering or working with an organization because a group that they're involved in went as a group. And so they were with somebody they knew, they were comfortable, whether it's a Rotary Club, whether it's a high school group, whether it's a retirement group from ExxonMobil or a church group. We really have found, and now particularly that the pandemic has somewhat subsided, people are wanting to get out of their house. They're wanting to get back involved. They want to feel good about life again. And so for a group or an individual to reach out and be a part of a food distribution for 1,000 families, or to organize clothes that have been donated for our clients, or even to work in the client intake office and sit across the desk from someone that needs services. There's a rewarding experience waiting to happen. And I firmly believe that we are called, all of us, to be a part of a community, to be a part of a movement to serve others. And the service to others in itself is the reward for doing that. There is no greater feeling than knowing that you just spent an hour or 2 hours or 8 hours helping someone who really needed it, someone who was hungry and you gave them a meal, someone that has an eviction notice, and thanks to our community, we paid their rent and late fees. That's who we are. And yes, some people can deny it, but that's why we have different passions. Some people are passionate for education or medical research or the arts or museums. And that's wonderful. Go with what your passion shows, but get connected, because that fuels us. That fuels an organization like NAM. There's no way we can serve 136,000 clients with 70 staff members. The numbers just don't work. And so when you bring in the volunteers and they come because they want to be there, that comes across to the clients, and the clients feel like they're not alone. Here's someone that lives just a few blocks from me, or I've seen them at school, I've seen them at the store, and they're helping me and they're helping my family. And, all of our programs are not designed to be long-term. They're designed to get families through a rough spot and to lift them out of that cycle of poverty so that they can then have successful, at least less stress life, and therefore set an example for their children to stay in school and to get a job and to be a part of a community and to strive to excel. And all that happens and starts with someone reaching out and getting involved.
You probably already gave me part of the answer for it, but I was going to say, I like to ask the people that I'm talking to, what do you get out of it? I mean, you have to get something out of it, but what does this do for Brian Carr, being a part of Northwest Assistance Ministries in Houston? What does it mean to you?
Again, it fuels who I am. And I can walk out my office right now and take a left down the hallway, and there's 20 seniors playing Wii bowling that are normally shut in their homes, that don't see anybody or talk to anybody. And they're in a room and they're laughing and they're cutting up and they're going to have a good meal here in a few minutes. And they were able to do that because of what we do here at NAM, because we're able to keep our doors open and keep that program going. There's right now, someone is on the phone in our domestic violence hotline talking to someone that desperately needs out of an abusive relationship. And today they're going to get out of that relationship because they made the call. And I'm not a case manager and I'm not a social worker, but if my talents raising money and bringing the message of what NAM does to the community keeps those doors open and keeps those programs going, then I have done what I'm supposed to do. I have done with my talents what I was called to do. And I go home and I have a 17-year-old son, and I don't make a lot of money. We don't live in a big house. But every once in a while he says, I love what you do. You help people. And I don't do it because my son says that, but now in him, helping people is important to him. And he's going to follow that the rest of his life. And so if I'm helping someone now and I've left a legacy of service with my son, then that's my reward. I can't imagine an amount of money that would be more rewarding than that.
What kind of help do you most need? Or maybe you can kind of prioritize, if you were going to get one kind of help first, what do you need from our audience?
Obviously financial donations are a need anytime with any charity, and it's wonderful to get those. But during this time of year, we start preparing for our summer. And because in the summer, the kids aren't going to school, so they lose out on the school breakfast and the school lunch. So we have more families that are having food issues. And so we need to restock our pantry and make sure that we have enough cereal and peanut butter and jelly and macaroni and cheese, the staples for these families to get through the summer. We need to make sure we have enough toiletries to hand out toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, soap, shampoo, those sort of things, to be able to hand out to these families that are struggling to make it. And with their kids at home, it even adds an additional stress to their lives, again, because they're not able to access some of the other programs that the community offers through the schools and through different programs. So right now, those are our two biggest issues. And then volunteers. The pandemic had slowed down our Meals on Wheels program, but beginning May 1st, we're going to be delivering meals to over 900 seniors Monday through Saturday. And so we need volunteers that can get involved and deliver meals to these seniors that need them. And so volunteers, financial donations, and in-kind donations really right now are very important to what we're doing.
Okay. When somebody is sitting at home and thinking about volunteering, what should they expect? I'm just curious, like whether there are just only one or two things that they might do with or for you, or if there's a broad range of things, any of which they might do. What do volunteers do with your organization?
I think that's important for anyone who's thinking of volunteering. You may hear NAM and say, oh, I'll volunteer there. But if that's not where your passion is, you may want to find an organization that fits your passion. But if you want to serve people, if you want to make sure that people eat tonight and have a roof over their head, an organization like NAM is wonderful. And we have opportunities in every single one of our programs. So if someone wants to hand out food through the food pantry, they can do that. If they are comfortable driving through the neighborhood and delivering Meals on Wheels, we'll take that. If they want to spend 3-4 hours in our donation center sorting clothes and shoes to be ready for either resale or given out to clients, or maybe they're administrative and they want to help us do administrative work, files and record keeping and data entry. We have opportunities for that. If they want to call a bingo game for the seniors, if they want to make a birthday cake for the seniors program, or make cards for Mother's Day that we deliver with our Meals on Wheels food, there is something for everyone. And whether it's 1 hour or 10 hours a week, give it a shot, because you'll get hooked pretty quick when you start seeing the faces of the clients and start kind of hearing the stories of where they come from and the difference that the volunteers can make.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I pose the question, is because, a lot of people, when they hear you need help, might only think of that money side, for example. And that's wonderful. If that's what you have to give, it's certainly greatly appreciated. But a lot of times the ways you can help, and the flexibility of different things that your organization needs, I feel like it probably surprises a lot of people.
There is nothing like it. We have, a group that came in this past Saturday from Texas A&M. It was a freshman group, so they were all 18, 19 years old. We had 70 of them on our campus at one time, and we split them up. Some were doing painting, some were sorting clothes, some was moving food and stocking the pantry. But we had this group of about 10 that worked outside in our flower beds, because we don't want to take donor money and pay a gardener to clear out our flower beds. That doesn't seem like a good way to spend donor money. So there was about 10 or 15 freshmen from Texas A&M working in our flower beds, and they did a wonderful job. They looked great. The plants are healthier. Monday morning, I walked by this flower bed, and written with their finger in the dirt, "We're praying for you." And so they not only did this great job in the flower bed, they already felt a connection to who we were serving. And they wanted the next person that was walking in the door that was going to receive services, someone cares enough to write in the dirt, "We're praying for you."
That's really moving.
And that's what I believe we were created for. I believe that's why we have different passions and we have different personalities, is because it takes all of us together to make it that kind of impact.
Yeah. It's also interesting, something you don't think of is both parties are benefiting. I mean, the people giving, feeling great about things, establishing a certain culture of kindness and setting examples and things like that, not just the people receiving things. Both parties benefit so substantially.
Absolutely.
It's interesting to hear how it touches them. Just a curiosity, for the foreseeable future for NAM, are there any particular directions or objectives that you want our audience to be aware of, where you guys kind of see the organization going for the future?
We really feel like at this point in time in our community, to make an impact in the community, to really break that cycle of poverty for these families, it's going to take jobs. And we need to help these communities and these families train and learn skills to help them to get jobs that give a livable wage, that have health benefits, that have some sort of future with them. So our learning center and vocational training center, we really feel that's where our growth is going to be over the next 5 to 10 years, is to bring in different training classes, whether it's beginning welding or electronics or different types of office skills, along with our work readiness program, where we're training people how to be good employees, how to get a job and keep a job. You put those two together, and we want to be able to produce and train these young families to go out and get these good jobs and to bring home more money and to move into better housing and allow their kids the opportunity to finish high school and perhaps go on to some sort of post-high school education. And that's where we're going to start breaking this cycle of poverty. We need corporations that will call us and say, send us your applicants, that will be willing to interview those that have gone through our training. We need volunteers to help with computer labs and GED tutoring. And of course, it's also going to take money. And so we need that community to step up and be a part of this, because when we start getting people with living wage jobs where they see a future, and that hope is what's going to carry them a long way.
Mm-hmm. You have any events coming up that you want to make our audience aware of? I know you mentioned the thing starting up in May. Go ahead.
June 18th, we're doing a large food distribution. We're going to give food away here at our NAM campus. It's a Saturday morning, and we're going to give food to about 1,000 families. And we just have them drive through our parking lot. We put the food in the trunk of their car, and anyone who would like to volunteer and come down and help, they can find all the information on our website, and they can sign up as a volunteer. And it's a great way to spend a Saturday morning and help your community.
Very cool. Looking at your website, I saw there's a couple of things also slated for like the October timeframe. I saw the Jeans and Jewels benefit concert, right?
Yes. Jeans and Jewels is kind of our top fundraising event. And there's actually 2 events. On October the 8th, we have the country music award winning band Lone Star is going to come to Houston and do a concert for us at a little place called Do-Si Do's. You can't get more Texan than that. And then October 28th is the Jeans and Jewels Gala, which is a time to get your cowboy chic going. Come out and show us your best boots and best jeans and have a good time and raise a little money to help our programs and services.
People can, as I saw on the webpage, they can give by phone, they can send you a check. Some other more creative ways also exist, right? That I'm thinking of things like where I saw it said gifts of stock, some people, right?
Not everyone can just, write a check. So we have a lot of different ways that can benefit people, and you can write a check. You can go online and make a donation with your credit card online. You can mail it in. You can call us in, but you may have some stock that is appreciated and don't want to pay the capital gains taxes on those stocks. And so you donate the stock without selling it. Just donate the stock as is. You transfer it from your account into our account. Our broker then sells it and turns it into cash for our programs and services. We can do that with real estate. We can do that with a lot of different appreciated assets. And so they should talk with their accountant or financial advisor and see if it might be of a benefit to them to save a little on their taxes and help a good cause.
Yeah, you guys are taking clothing, furniture, household items, right, in donations. Food donations is another way. And I even saw the ability to donate retirement assets.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people do things like whether it's retirement assets or their life insurance or through their will, they can also leave things to your organization, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Brian, it's been great talking with you today. I hope that we have helped you create awareness for your organization and that we help you get more volunteers, more donations, and all that kind of thing. This is TALRadio from the Touch a Life Foundation, and we're all about connecting the people in need to the people that are willing to generously give. And I'm hoping that we have done some of that here today. If people want to get started in working with your organization, probably the best place to go is to your website, right?
Absolutely. namonline.org. That's the first place to start. You've got contact information if you have more questions.
Yeah, we really do hope that our listeners will help the Northwest Assistance Ministries in Houston, Texas. But as mentioned, there are other organizations that may be more local to you. You can do both. You can help help NAM, but you can also look for similar organizations in your local area. Brian, thanks again for your time today. It's been a pleasure. I'm Robert Hicks, and we certainly do appreciate the opportunity to meet with Northwest Assistance Ministries, Brian Carr, their Chief Advancement Officer. We hope that you'll stay with us here on TALRadio, and we also hope that you'll go download that Touch a Life application. It's called TAL Giving. If you go to the Apple Store or you go to Google Play, download that app, get registered as a donor or a donee, if you will, a recipient, and we'll help make that connection. Brian, thanks so much. Again, appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.